Hello everybody, if you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if not, then welcome back to another recommendation video. Today's recommendation video is a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but you know, it's spooky season. I always try to go for something new and improved, something that I haven't read a lot of before, and kind of test my boundaries a little bit, push the mundane aside, and go to something that's like not really what I would read every day. So that's what I did a bit for today's recommendation video. It is also a collaboration with Temecka from Temecka's library. We're talking on Instagram and she asked me if I wanted to collab with her for this trope, and I was like, yes, totally, because I knew that it would push me outside of my comfort zone. I'm not really one to read horror. I've never read a straight horror book, but I love dark romance, obviously. Temecka and I both share that, and so I was like, you know what, yes, because I needed to get outside of my comfort zone. I needed to try something new, something different, and I've always wanted to like move a little bit into the kind of more like classical literature side, like all the books that you'd see in a library, like, you know, Stephen King, and that's literally the only one I can think of right now, but like those ones, you know. And I feel like horror is a step in that direction for me, because while I think I'll always need to have some sort of romance with what I read, I do want to like branch out a little bit. So I'm very thankful for Temecka for asking me to collab on this video, because it really did take me outside of my comfort zone, and I had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, definitely check out her video. I will link her channel and the video down in the description. I love her recommendations. We share a love for dark romance, so if you like my reading taste, you'll definitely love hers as well. She obviously also reads horror, which I've watched a few of those recommendation videos and been like, one day, babe, one day. But also, she is one of the only booktubers that I see recommending female romances, or even reading them in general. Like, I'm not saying other booktubers have anything against it, I'm just saying they don't read it as often as she does, and I love her for that. Literally my go-to booktuber for female romances. So definitely check her out, leaving the links down in the description. I don't have a huge recommendation list for you guys today. Like I said, a little bit outside of my comfort zone. So while I do have some good ones, obviously, there's just not a huge list like I've been doing for my other videos. Yeah, we're gonna get into that now. Actually though, there was one thing I wanted to say before we got into the video. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel for a while and you've been watching my stuff for a while, you may have noticed that like I never give an introduction of my name. Like I always say I'm freyleyce, right? I wanted to like clarify that you guys can call me Freya if you'd like, because sometimes people will like message me or say my name is like freyleyce, and I don't know why, but it feels so official to me. It feels like you're like messaging me on a brand something, you know, like something like the government would say. And even though that's not actually my full first name, it's actually a nickname, fun fact. Feel free to call me Freya because it's a little more like casual. I don't know. I love freyleyce and I love what I've created as freyleyce, but it just feels a little official sometimes. So feel free to call me Freya. You can stick with freyleyce if you want, but I just wanted to like give that as a little like, not really disclaimer, but like something like that. I just wanted to put that out there. We're gonna get into the video now. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for all the spooky season content, and let's get into today's collaboration video. By the way, guys, I'm wearing a cardigan right now. Like, I feel like I've become a different person this spooky season. Like, I don't really wear cardigans. I find that the material of them is kind of uncomfortable, but this one, I went thrifting and I found it and it's awesome. Like, it's knitted, but it's not like comfortable on the skin, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm just feeling the ultimate vibes this season. But anyway, we gotta get to this recommendation video. So, first recommendation is gonna be Heron Mill by K.L. Taylor Lane. I literally was reading this, and I think it was like a week or so after Temecka asked me if I wanted to do this collaboration video with her, and I was like, girl, you're gonna have to like actually read some horror romances here, like get out of your comfort zone. And so when I started reading this one, I was like, oh my god, this is literally perfect. This is literally what I'm looking for. So this is a dark, very dark, obviously, gothic romance, and it is a bit of a psychological thriller as well. It's got like hints of it in there. This one follows Grace and Hunter, and Grace just came back from like kind of an insane asylum. It's not exactly an insane asylum, I don't think, but it's something along those lines, and she comes back home, and her mom has married this new guy who has like 5 sons. So she now has like 5 step siblings, and she's just a very lost at that moment, like coming home, all this new shit. She's like very lost. I feel like that's the perfect way to describe what she's going through, but starts developing this little thing with one of her stepbrothers, Hunter. It's not a reverse harem, I want to make that clear. This is an MF romance, but yeah, they have this little tension thing going on. She like wanders off into the woods, gets lost, and then he has to like go find her, and she's always defending her in front of her mother, because her mother is quite honestly a bitch. And they develop this little like kind of friendship thing, but it's very clear from the start that they're really into each other. And I just want to give y'all saw the list of kinks in this one. So this is the perfect mix if you're looking for something a little shorter. I think it's like 200 pages or something. It was originally a novella, but then it went a bit bigger than a novella, so it's like kind of novella length, but it reads like a novella. And it's just an awesome, quicker read. It's very graphic. There's a lot of gore because Hunter and his family's job, I guess, or business is basically mercenaries or like killers for hire, and they have their like processing plant at their gothic mansion in the woods. So there's a lot of murder to do with that. But then there's multiple scenes in here where it's like, oh my god. So I want to read you all the kink list though, because this one is really spicy. You have primal kink, blood play, knife play, spit play, fear, violence, murder, corpses, grief, heavy mental health topics, drugs, domestic abuse, child neglect. So that was not only the trigger warnings, but also the kink list. I mean, you obviously clicked on this video, you're ready for some darkness. I think you should really read this one because it gives all of that. Also, like, how pretty is this cover? Next up is another novella-sized one, and that is Even in Death by Lilith Roman. So this one is actually a ghost romance. If you notice, these ones are all kind of perfect for spooky season. They've got a great spooky element to them, and this one, yeah, it's a ghost romance. It's kind of shocking, okay? So you gotta hold on a little bit here. Let me describe what this book is about. So the heroine in this one is an author, and she moves into this new house, and she's kind of like all alone. It's a little isolated and separated from the town, and she moves in. She's experiencing like this writer's block, as literally all the authors that are book characters are. Like, there's not an author that I've read that isn't experiencing writer's block during the book. It's so funny. Anyway, she moves in there and she starts noticing this like presence around her, and it just so happens to be the hero, who is a ghost. It sounds kind of crazy, but this one is a horror novella, and it's pretty smutty, it's pretty graphic, a lot of gore, and the buddy's a ghost, right? So it's paranormal, it's perfect for spooky season. I'm pretty sure the trigger warnings is just as long as the last one too. And like all of these are horror romances, right? So they're not pure horror. They're gonna have a lot of smut, a lot of spice, a lot of romance and horror, and it'll be graphic, and it'll be gory, and it'll be dark. But that's why you clicked on this video, right? So yeah, Even in Death by Lilith Roman, it recently got a new cover. Y'all, it's awesome. Highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for a shorter novella to like tick off the list. Maybe that's just me, but I love ticking them off the list this time of year. It's so satisfying. And then we're gonna go to the Duet by Sophie Lark that I feel like is called the No Saints Duet, but I'm not fully sure on that. So we're just gonna say this Duet by Sophie Lark. This one, I read it actually when it first came out, and I loved it instantly. This is a serial killer romance. And every time I say serial killer, I just imagine the cereal emoji with a knife emoji. It's so funny. Anyway, this follows Cole and Mara. Both of them are actually artists in San Francisco. Cole is very successful. He's made a lot of money. He's got a name for himself, but Mara is just starting out and she's really struggling. She's kind of like that typical starving artist. And so she goes to a artist kind of party, I think, and catches the eye of a fellow serial killer also in the art industry. And he's intrigued because he sees Cole like look at her once and then is like, oh, I'm gonna play with his pet. And very presumptuous of him, may I add. But anyway, he dumps her and like bloodied, beaten up, kind of dying in front of Cole. And Cole's like, what the fuck? Like, Shaw, why'd you do this? But then he and Mara start to develop this little thing, and he helps her out as an artist. They start to develop this connection, and some of the plot is them running from Cole's like enemy serial killer, because this is also an MF romance. It's not like Menage or anything. It's just Cole and Mara. Shaw plays a big role in this because they continue to like not really run from him, but like, what's the word here? But he's like the villain in this one, okay? But Cole, the hero, is also the villain in this because he is a serial killer. Shaw is a serial killer. They're feuding. Mara gets caught in the middle of it. It's not a fun time for everybody for a while. It's a little, and it's pretty gory because they kill some people and some shit happens and it's crazy. But anyway, this is a really, I was gonna say this is a really fun romance. It's not. And this is a great serial killer romance. The action in this one, the setting, the gore, the plot, really fun. I will say I did enjoy that first book a little bit more than the second one, but highly recommend the Something Duet by Sophie Lark. Literally, why can't I remember it? First one is There Are No Saints. Highly recommend it if you're looking for some gore. Also, if you're looking for a serial killer romance, definitely check out this one. Next up is Whispers in the Dark by Letitia Newton. I believe I said that right. And this one I actually got from Temecka. She recommended this in her like extra dark romance recommendation video from a while back actually. And I was like, oh, I really love this cover. I love the idea of it. So I read it, and while it's not the best book that you're ever gonna read, it is definitely a great book if you're looking for gore, graphics, shit, and like darkness. If you're a hardcore dark romance lover, you need to check this out. This one, it was so dark, and it was kind of a psychological thriller as well. Kind of all of these are, honestly. I feel like romance, psychological thriller, and like horror go hand in hand for some of these. Yeah, it's really dark. It's definitely confusing, and there's a lot of plot twists in here that you'll be like, what is going on? But I read this one back in like August, I think it was. It might have been July. And while you can't really enjoy a book that is this dark, it wasn't like a bad read or anything. Yeah, just be prepared before you go in. Just know it's pretty chaotic. There's a lot of darkness, a lot of twists and turns, very graphic, and if any of that sounds intriguing to you, then you should check it out. Okay, the last one is one that I just read the other day, and that is Lovely Bad Things by Trisha Wolfe. So if you watch my vlog where I was reading this, you'll know that like I didn't love this as much as I wanted to. Unfortunately, it was not all that it was hyped up to be, but I wanted to recommend it because as someone who was looking for romances to read this season, I feel like they're kind of niched, you know? Like, you can't find them if you look them up on TikTok. I mean, I did look them up on TikTok, but the ones that I saw I'd already read. So anyway, I wanted to recommend this one because if you're looking for a horror romance, then this book is literally just that. But if you look too deep into it, you'll start to find some like holes in the book and some things that you might not like. But if you're looking for gore and chemistry and like tension, then this is the perfect read for you, honestly. This follows Halen and Callum, and Halen is a criminal profiler, and she gets called to work on this case. And she's like, I need a consultant kind of who can see this case of a like serial killer from the mind of a serial killer, or at least a criminal. So she asked for her like kind of enemy, Callum. They have some like past shit that went down and they don't really like each other, but she asked him to be a consultant, and then their chemistry just like takes off from there. I will say one thing, if you're looking for like love in this, you may not find it, but if you're looking for some tension and some chemistry, some twists and turns, gore, like I said, definitely give this one a shot. It is a duet as well. I'm not too sure when the second book comes out. I only read the first one, but yeah, if any of those things sound interesting to you, you should check it out, but just know it's not gonna be the best book you'll ever read. Okay, everybody, that is it for today's recommendation video. I hope you guys liked this. Like I said, it was a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but I love shaking things up for different seasons. So thank you so much again to Temecka for inviting me to collab on this video. Definitely make sure you check out her stuff, guys, down in the description. I am very appreciative of her support, and I cannot wait to watch her video. So like I said, down in the description, check them out. You can also find my affiliate links for these books down there, as well as my Instagram, my Goodreads, my business email, and that is it. Thank you again for watching today's video. Happy spooky season reading, and I'll see you in my next video very soon.